Coast Studios in Oklahoma City. This is an OU update with Jason Kersey. I'm Jenny Carlson. Jason, an area that the Sooners have to be somewhat excited / apprehensive about going into next season is wide receiver. Excited because they've got a guy like Sterling Shepard leading the way. Apprehensive because they've got a lot of young guys. But let's start with Shepard. I mean, isn't he clearly the leader of this pack?
Oh, yeah, there's no doubt about it. He's the only guy back with any real game experience. I mean, you have a guy like Deron Neal who's played a little bit over his first 2 years on campus, but never much. And Austin Bennett didn't redshirt last year, so he comes in as a sophomore, but I think he only caught 2 passes last season. So there's a lot of, there is some apprehension there, but I think there's excitement not only about Sterling, but about some of these young guys. I think they really believe they've got some really good talent there, but it's just sort of unproven at this point.
You don't know. They've not been in game situations. You mentioned some of the names, Deron Neal. I mean, I think some names that are known, but are there some guys that maybe have been on campus a while that you feel like could become big time contributors in the pass game?
A guy that I am looking towards that I really think could be a big time contributor is Derek Woods. He redshirted as a true freshman. Last year he didn't play much. He only caught, I think, 2 passes all year, but one of them was a huge catch in the second quarter of the Sugar Bowl. And when he went up for the ball, got hit from behind, held on to it. It was a 20-yard gain and a first down. Went on to they wound up kicking a field goal out of that drive. So he's definitely a guy who I think is ready to take that next step. But there's going to be competition. I mean, with, like I said, Austin Bennett, there's guys who redshirted last year. And then they're bringing in a few receivers that I think have a chance to play too.
Well, what about some of those guys that maybe aren't even on campus yet? Who amongst the incoming guys are maybe possible contributors?
Well, I think Dallas Todd from California and Mark Andrews from Arizona are 2 guys. They were both 4-star guys. They're tall, so they kind of have maybe a unique place in the offense. They may fill a role that's not really filled at this point. There's also, Jeffrey Mead is a signee, 6'7", I think, from Tulsa Union. But I also think he's a pretty raw prospect. I actually watched him play basketball in the state tournament last month, and I mean, that guy is thin as a rail. So I think he's going to need a little time with Jerry Schmidt before he can do much.
You mentioned the height of some of these incoming guys. I mean, it's not like OU's never had tall receivers, but of late, their best guys have sort of been on the 6-foot-ish side. Is there a change in philosophy when it comes to size and receivers at OU?
I don't know if it's so much a change in philosophy as that's just who they've gotten and who's been really good. I mean, LeColton Bester was a JUCO guy. He was a taller guy, but he was a JUCO guy, so he didn't really start to pan out, I guess, until the end of his career. So he never really got a chance to develop. And Justin Brown was only there for a year. But they're bringing in a lot of tall guys. I mean, these 3, they're recruiting other tall receivers right now. So I think maybe they're trying to balance that out a little bit better. But Jalen Saunders and Ryan Broyles and Sterling Shepard, they're the guys who have just been there doing the job.
All right. Thanks, Jason. Sure to stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoma.